Hello, good afternoon. I'm Abiodun Said Omodara, Rocket Parrot News. I'm here with Dr. Bello Mustapha, a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Arts, Lagos State University. He will be speaking to us on the way to combat ethnicity and religious tension to boost national unity and cohesion in Nigeria. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Please, may we know you more?
Well, just like you introduced me, I am Dr. Mustapha Adebayo Bello. I'm a senior lecturer in Islamic Cultural Studies in the Department of Religions and Peace Studies, Lagos State University.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Please, can you tell us your thoughts on the current state of ethnicity and religion tension in Nigeria?
Well, thank you. The state of affairs in our country is known to virtually everybody. The fact that even in the last election that we had to go through a lot of stress that ordinarily what shouldn't have been a matter of discussion when an election is coming took the front burner. You know, the Muslim ticket. That is to tell you. And the fact that it took a lot of horse trading before a southwestern Nigeria could emerge as a president, commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria speaks volume of the role of ethnicity and religion in a national polity. And sometimes people say it's for balancing, religious balancing, or what they call federal character. But in most cases, it has relegated integrity, competence to the background. So it's now about who is he, from which state, from which region, what language does he speak as an indigenous Nigerian, and what religion does he profess. So that is to tell you how far. Nobody now talks about is he competent, or is it an expert? Can he do the job? So questions that people raise now on matters of national interest is about where it comes from and which religion he or she professes.
Thank you, sir. Please, how, in your world of knowledge, sir,
Yeah.
how can we promote this inter-ethnic and inter-religious dialogue in Nigeria to foster understanding and harmony in Nigeria?
Well, let me also state that in our unofficial setting, Nigerians relate quite very well. I'm sure you know, particularly in southwest Nigeria here, there's no virtually all religions is represented in every family in the southwest Nigeria. Even outside the southwest, there are places where you go to the north where you find the southern people residing, that they have become, even though immigrants, have become indigenous communities there. Go as far as Maiduguri, there are Igbos living in Maiduguri. Go as far as Akwa Ibom, you find Hausa, Fulani communities in some of these places. So Nigeria, in their interpersonal relationship, they gel a lot, they relate a lot. But when it comes to official setting, that is where we have the problem. In the official setting, particularly by the elites of Nigeria. And that's why, if anything, if we want to look at what can we do, how can we promote, I think it starts to start from a conscious realization by the elites of Nigeria that Nigeria is a plural state. A plurality means plurality in terms of our ethnicity, and we cannot wish anybody away. We've come to be one country since 1914, when Lord Lugard amalgamated both the northern and southern protectorates together, and we've come a long way. So I think the first thing how to promote is that realization that we have come to occupy the same geographical entity called Nigeria. Two, the fact that we cannot wish anybody, any tribe or any religion away, no matter how infinitesimal that group looks like. You know, we have the issue of minorities, majority, we have those divides. Minority tribe, minority religion, majority religion. Regardless of how it is, we must come to terms, particularly the elites, a conscious realization that we must live together in peace.
Thank you, sir. In your own view, sir, what do you think is the causes of ethnicity in Nigeria?
Ethnicity. Okay, the tensions you mentioned. Let me tell you, one of the things that I found is failure of governance, which has made majority of our people to be poor, which has impoverished our people over the years. Failure of governance. Let me tell you, Nigerians in their own understanding of how we govern ourselves, they don't really care who is the president. Once they can have food on their tables, they can get to the hospitals and find their health challenges are met. Their children could go to school, good schools, they can have pipe-borne water, they can have good roads. So Nigeria don't really care about who governs there. I think the major cause of ethnicity and religious tensions is failure of governance, which has made poverty to be endemic in our society. If you are not able to fight poverty and ensure that government does the reason why it is in existence in the first place, then we can be academic about resolving our religious and ethnicity problem.
Sir, you said government poverty is the major cause of ethnicity in Nigeria. What solution could you prefer to the government to solve this ethnicity issue in Nigeria?
Because we are looking at two things now, ethnicity and religion. I think the first thing is for us to understand the basis of governance. Governance is about making life more meaningful and more abundant. If you go to the Constitution, there is a schedule there that talks about the basic objective of governance. I'm not a lawyer, but those who are lawyers, they know. And you can even get the Nigerian Constitution, you will see that security of lives and properties, welfare of the people. These are the bases where political parties are formed. These are the bases by which political party canvass for votes. These are the basis by which they are elected into offices. When they get there, do they do such things? So when they get there, if people are poor, people will now be thinking about, it's because it is a Yoruba man who is there. That's why we are poor. Because poverty has no relations. And that's why I say government, particularly those who are governing us, should address the reasons why they are there. Once it is addressed, I'm telling you, issues relating to religious tensions and ethnicity will be reduced to the barest minimum. The current state of affairs where there's hike in food prices, since the removal of petroleum subsidy and the removal of the floating of the naira, and then the naira is now at whatever exchange rate. You can see so nobody, not even those who are elected who are members of APC or members of the government will be proud of what is happening now. So whether you are Yoruba man or an Igbo man. So the issue is, let government, whether at local, state or national, address the objective for which they are in existence.
Thank you, sir. You talked about welfareism.
Yes.
Education is part of citizen welfareism, sir.
Yes.
In your own opinion or in your wealth of knowledge, sir, how can awareness and education program be utilized to promote inclusive and discourage discrimination based on ethnicity in Nigeria and in Nigeria communities?
Yes. I like the word you use, inclusiveness. And when you talk about education, I have always advocated at different fora that the singular dosage, if we say Nigeria has a lot of problems, how can we resolve it? Is education. I'm talking of functional education, not just formal education. Functional education. The citizenry must be educated at different levels. Access to education must be opened up to everybody. People should not see it as it should be a right for every Nigerian citizen to be educated. So because we are good at sloganeering in Nigeria. You know, we slogans. We bring the National Orientation Agency. They brought a lot of slogan at different times. So so that is why we must understand the basis. So I also support the fact that the citizens need to be properly educated, for them to know their rights, and for them to also to demand for their rights when those rights are not being given to them.
Thank you, sir. You talk about education, not just education in the four walls, but education in this aspect. How can the community leaders educate or enlighten their community members on ethnicity and discrimination within the community and Nigeria at large?
I think when we all realize the fact that we require peace for development, all that what we yearn for in our communities, development, good roads, good schools, pipe-borne water, and all those things, good health care facilities. I mean, industrial base for those who want to get things done, for artisans. I mean, electricity, all those things that we require, that all of us desire, can only happen when we have peace. And one of the two things that could inflame crisis in any community is ethnicity and religion. And that's why it becomes the responsibility of every community leader to ensure that they create a platform within the community whereby matters relating to concerns on ethnicity, exclusiveness, when people have been excluded, are brought to bear. I know, and commendable so, that government has what they call NIREC, a Nigerian Interreligious something like that committee at the national level, and some states, I know of Lagos, that has a similar platform where matters relating to religion can be resolved. Such kind of platforms can also be erected at the local level, where when people have issues relating to their concern about discrimination on the basis of ethnicity or religion, can be tabled, and such matters are nipped in the bud before they snowball into a major crisis. So we require it.
Thank you so much, Doctor. How do you think media can contribute in the process of reducing ethnicity and religion in Nigeria?
The media, being the fourth estate of the realm, has a big role, because when there is no information, what you are likely to find is misinformation. So that's why the media is a major stakeholder in everything that happens in the country. And that's why every media, because I tell people, when people stoke the embers of discord through sometimes what we call exaggerated reporting, or what we call sensational reportage or sensational headlines, look, if Nigeria is inflamed, no media person can operate. So it's even in the interest of the media also to be partners with local leaders, with government, and with other stakeholders in ensuring issues relating to ethnicity and religion is handled with care. They are both are sensitive matters that must be handled sometimes without sentiment, and that I feel is a major, because the press sometimes they dictate the tune. They are what we call opinion molders. For the generality of the people, sometimes the media shape their opinion about certain things. Something just happened of recent. The Samoa, the Samoa agreement that Nigeria and some other countries signed, and a newspaper reported falsely that part of the agreement has to do with LGBTQ, whereas it was false. If it was not properly nipped in the bud by government, you will see people demonstrations in some parts of the world where they found such kind of clauses offensive to their own religious calling. So we must be careful. The media, yes, we partner, but we must be careful how we report issues of ethnicity and religion, because they are very, very sensitive and it could stoke any conflict in the society.
Thank you so much, sir. Are there any successful model or initiative that Nigeria can learn from in resolving ethnicity and religious tension in Nigeria?
They are. But the problem is that the peculiarity of our society is just, somebody just mentioned this morning, that the presidential system of government that we copied from America is not even working in America now. If it's not working in America, can't we now look at our own local system? I think the issue is this. We must ensure, I have had opportunity of conversing, that it's not enough for government to see religion or religious leaders as what I call crisis managers. When government is forming policies, government should engage both community and religious leaders in policy formation, in policy rollout and implement. In fact, at level of policy, let me give you an example. There was a crisis in Bauchi State in a particular setting that I don't want to mention, and you can Google. That crisis was because the Muslims in that community, who are immigrants, but they had become, a very strong, very strong body of the community. They hate swine, the flesh of a pig. But the communities who are indigenous community, pig is their own kind of meat they eat all the time. And because it was not properly made, it generated into a big problem. But if those persons, the community leader, had been involved in policy formation right from the beginning, they will have found a way of factoring the sensibilities of persons of diverse religious consideration into the law. So I want to employ government at any level, whether even it's economy policy, political policy, environment policy, issues relating to people, factor community leaders and religious leaders into the formation, so that implementation will not be difficult. Thank you, sir.
On government, how do you think the government can distribute the resources and opportunity among different groups and ethnicity to prevent feeling of marginalization?
I think there is government. There's what we call federal character. That is a constitutional requirement for we have to dispense patronage in government. Federal character means that every federating unit must be represented in appointment. Look, this is who we are, and because we have not really gelled to a level that people can disregard some of these sentiments, it is important that government should ensure that in their appointments, in the what they call sharing of government offices and positions, the concept of federal character must be respected. That is one, without necessarily sacrificing integrity. I want to believe in every community in Nigeria, if you are looking for the right person, there are enough right persons in every community. So if you are looking for a doctor, you want to appoint a doctor, and that doctor has to be somebody from the southeast, appoint the best amongst the doctors there. If you want to appoint an engineer from the southwest or the north central, appoint the best amongst the engineers in that place. That's what, so without necessarily sacrificing what you call integrity, competence and expertise. Secondly, government should also, by their body language, it's not enough that we are doing it. We must continue to pacify those who have sense of marginalization. You cannot develop a citizenry by means of a citizenry that a participatory government through coercion. Government should pacify those who feel marginalized, and continue to give assurances that their grievances and grouses will be assuaged as we move forward.
Thank you, sir. You said in your last statement, you said the government should carry along all members of the society. If I may, what policy or law do you think can be implemented to protect the rights of minority ethnicity group in Nigeria?
There are enough laws in the books in Nigeria. Nigeria is not short of laws. I'm sure those laws are there, which gives every citizen of Nigeria the rights, including the minorities. What is lacking is the willpower to implement them. And that's why, look at it. Even the issue of local government, how do we manage? Why the government, because if a government is doing so, is doing in a particular, we must say it. It took a governor, a president who had the courage to take the matter to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court just legislated that the local government is an independent arm of government, which must be allowed to be accountable to itself. So these are clear. So I think it's about the sincerity of intentions to be able to do what is right. The rights of the minority are protected in different forms. So those laws are there. If you enact new laws when the old laws have not even been tested, to even test their reliability before we can know whether they are reliable or they are performing the basis of their enactment, before we cannot say let us review them or jettison them or replace it with other laws. So let those who are in charge of governing us have sincerity of purpose and do what is right all the time.
Sir, do you think intermarriage relationship is a solution to this ethnicity in Nigeria?
I have mentioned it earlier. I mentioned it at the beginning of this conversation. That Nigeria at the informal level, unofficial level, Nigerians marry across religious lines, and there are no tensions. Nigerians marry across, regional, tribal lines. My own mother is from Kogi State. My father is from Ogun State. So it's not Nigerians do all that. It's at the official level that we now see ourselves because of distribution of national wealth. So intermarriage, yes, Nigeria has been doing, and I want to encourage us to do more of it, because when we do such things, we will know ourselves better. Our phobias, our apprehensions will be assuaged as we intermarry. We will know, these people are like this because that is where they are. It's not because they are bad.
Do you think hate speech on social media platform is a problem causing ethnicity and tension in Nigeria?
It's a new thing, what we call false news and hate speech. And that's what we feel that government needs to do something about it. I'm an advocate of regularizing the social media. There's nowhere you have a a blanket, uncensored, what you call freedom of doing whatever you like. So, because when you do that in the comfort of your room and you just send false information or hate speech, you can destroy lives. And that's why I feel government needs to do. If government is not ready to censor those who for whatever reason are liable or have committed offenses relating to hate speech and false news, it should be apprehended and dealt with so as to serve as deterrent to other persons who are in the business of fomenting trouble through the social media.
Thank you, sir. In your expertise, sir, what advice, suggestion can you give to the government on the way to combat ethnicity and religious tension in Nigeria?
I've mentioned it. Let government, not just in their words, even in their body language, do what is right. You could see that when the apprehension that many of us or many of Nigerians had about the Muslim ticket has gone down, because it's now clear to Nigerians that ticket, even though the two persons involved are Muslims, they are not there representing the Muslims. So it is enough. People will complain, but once government start doing what is right, I'm sure Nigerians will appreciate. So it's not enough to say we are doing what we ought to do. Let it be seen that you are doing it and doing it well. So that is what I advise government.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
We just finished talking to Dr. Mustapha Bello, a senior lecturer at the Lagos State University, Ojo. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.